In the last video, I settled my ants in this mini box and they developed here for 30 days. But today, I will open a lot of new space for them. I will be shocked as they will build a real anthill here. A lot of time has passed, and there are already a lot of ants in this box. This anthill is already full, and they have already dug up everything they could. They no longer have anything to build new nests from. But now I will fix it. Something incredible will be created in this big box. First of all, I will fill it with several layers of clay and sand. The first layer will be simple black clay. Then I decided to add a little red shade to the layer, and later I added sand here. This is done so that it would be much more interesting to watch how the ants dig their nest. Like in the wild, you will be able to see what clay is on the surface, and this means how deep the ants have already reached. I carefully cleaned the box so that everything looks perfect and transparent. You definitely need to sprinkle this place with fresh water so that all the soil is moist and the ants can build something extremely interesting. And finally, the important moment comes. For a long time of life in this mini box, the ants get a lot of new space. Just look what they have done here. They have made a giant nest under this sand. I think they are tired of sitting in this small box. I made a small hole in the plastic, and then I connected two boxes with a small tube through which the ants will run. This important moment has come. Finally, the ants get what they have been waiting for so long. And here are the first ants who seem to have discovered America. For them it is truly a new world and a new future. At first they were just exploring the new territory. Later they just took some garbage here from another mini box. But after a while, after 5 days, I noticed that the ants started doing something. It looks like they are digging a new nest. Maybe it will be a new anthill, but later I didn't expect what I would see, since I didn't fully understand what these ants are capable of. Just look at the tunnel entrances they've already dug underground.
2,000 years later.
Oh my god! Just look at this. They made a real underground small city. This giant capsule is their first nest. And I think it's just a living room. It looks very interesting, just incredible. It seems that the ants like the new territory, and they will all move here soon. Day and night the ants dug the clay even faster and faster. On the surface of the box I noticed a new layer of black clay. This means that the ants are building something large scale underground. Oh no! I noticed how they started covering the walls with clay. And now nothing is visible, and also new tunnels appeared from below. The ants are really doing some serious project underground. Meanwhile, there is no one in the old house anymore. Meanwhile, when the ants were carrying the clay, I noticed some creatures sitting under this clay. Look how much soil they had already brought to the surface. In the frame you can see that almost the entire first layer of clay that was underground is up. Yes, ants also need a lot of protein, despite the fact that they eat mainly only seeds. For the good and active development of their offspring of eggs and larvae, they need a lot of different trace elements and proteins. So they get a small dinner. Ants have never seen such a large prey. They have not yet learned to hunt completely correctly and do not have experience as in the wild, but now they saw a new chance for themselves. Ants immediately conveyed information to the entire anthill that there is potential food on the surface, and immediately a large number of ants began to meet the cockroach. They all took it in a tight hug because they love it very much. It seems that the cockroach also likes it, and they danced in this box for another half a day. I also noticed what an interesting entrance the ants made to the anthill. Look what an interesting hole they made. It really reminds me of real construction in nature. The ants did a good job, and they moved hundreds of thousands of pieces of sand and clay to the surface, and also made interesting tunnels from the bottom of this box. But wait! Let's see what's underneath. Wow, they made a huge nest. They cleaned almost everything that was at the bottom of this box. And now the queen sits here with worker ants. And I also created a small warehouse with seeds. Then I decided to give these ants some vitamins. Taking this small piece of grape, I cut it into pieces and gave it to the ant. Fructose is also quite useful for them. But after some time, the ants simply ignored my gift. Maybe these grapes were a little too sweet. Later, I saw that the cockroach I had given to the ants had disappeared from the arena. Did they really get over it so quickly? And then a few days later, I gave the ants some more protein and also took away a piece of grape, because the ants didn't eat it. Oh, look how diligently the ant drags a piece of food into the nest to feed the others. At that time, I already saw other pieces of food in the nest. After a while, I noticed that the ants were running like crazy after some insect. Oh, it's an isopod. Look how beautiful it is. It must have come out of the underground that I poured into this box, and I decided to take this isopod so that the ants wouldn't chase it. So 30 days have passed since the ants settled in this amazing place. The ants feel great here, and they dug interesting nests in the middle. It was a great adventure for them, since I opened up a lot of new space for them to live and build even more interesting structures. But this is just the beginning. Since a large part of the land has remained intact, here the ants will develop as in nature. And I think this is not the end of the story. Thanks for watching! See you soon